Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo Podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Jemma, and joining me this week, I have the one and only Kirk. Welcome back, Kirk.
Hello, glad to be here. I'm looking forward to explaining to everybody why I'm mad at Nintendo this week.
Ooh, okay.
It'll
This
come up.
sounds juicy.
Well,
All
it's
right.
nothing really, but let's give people something to look forward to.
Yep, sounds good. And we have a lot to talk about. We've got some games that we're playing, which we're excited to discuss, as well as some news. So let's kick things off with some of those news items. And the biggest news this week is that Drag and Drive is out now. And this is a first party game from Nintendo. And it hit, I think it was the 14th of August, it came out. It is a digital only game, not a physical game. And I think we all know what it is by now. It's the 3-on-3 basketball title with the wheelchair robots, and you use the mouse controls. Basically, that's the gimmick. And there was a global jam last weekend. I I tried to participate in this, Kirk. I missed it somehow. I downloaded it and I tried to join, but I just wasn't on at the right time because there were like 3 sessions over the weekend, and every time I tried to join, I just wasn't in the right time. So
Oh, okay. So it's not like you didn't qualify or
no,
missed
no.
the registration deadline. You just showed up at the wrong time.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Because there were periods, I think there were like 4-hour periods, and it just didn't work out for me. Unfortunately, I had a really busy weekend. I tried, I really did. And you can sort of you download it and you open it up and you're a little dude sitting there, and then it just says you can't play right now. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I checked online because the times were I think it was because it's global. I think it was across the world at the same time. So the times were trying to sync up with different areas so that everyone could try, at a reasonable hour. So one of my times was like 1 a.m. But the other two were pretty good times, like Saturday night and Sunday morning. But I just wasn't available those times, unfortunately. But that's okay. I have tried it since then, but we'll get to that in a sec. The game is, what is it, $20 on the eShop? It's online only, as in I already said you can only download it, but you really can only play. This is probably one of the downsides, I would say. You can only play with people online. You can't play locally. You can play against bots, so you can definitely have matches against computer controlled characters. But to play with people, you have to play online. So to me, it's a little bit similar to something like, I don't know, Pokemon Unite, or maybe even Star Wars Hunters in terms of that PvP kind of feel. Not that you're shooting people, of course, in Star Wars Hunters. It looks like the reviews so far that are coming in are fairly mixed. I don't know if you've seen much online during the last, few days since it's come out. It's, some people are enjoying it and others have issues. We are reviewing it as well, Kirk. If you didn't realize, I will be reviewing this one. Nintendo of Australia gave us a code, so thank you to them. So I'll be checking it out more over the weekend. I've had a little bit of time with it so far, so I'll give you my thoughts as well. It's another small tidbit of information that was revealed since the launch is that it was a very small development team. What was the number? It was like 18 people, which isn't super surprising, I think, because it's a smaller game. It's the $20 price tag.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah.
I was say, yeah, I think it has the look and feel of a smaller dev style game.
Yeah.
It's got the visual polish that you would expect from Nintendo on something like this, but
Mhm.
gameplay wise, we see things like this from indie developers quite frequently.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So I think it's a good price point, really, for what it is. I It's going to be a tough one to review because I've only played it a little bit and I have quite enjoyed it, to be honest. I've seen a lot of people say it's quite hard or quite physically demanding, as in you're using a mouse control all the time. It is like I played it for a good hour or so and I found myself getting heated. Like you're moving your arms constantly, especially when you're in the heat of a game, a match. You're rolling the controls really quickly. And I was using my legs this time around. I haven't really done a lot of that with the Switch 2 yet, but I was really using my legs for each wheel. I will say that when I first started, it was tricky, and I wasn't it took a little while to get used to the controls, I would say, and by a little while, I mean, 20 minutes kind of thing, half an hour. Eventually, I did jump into a match because I was kind of worried that everyone around the world would be much better than me at this game, and, I actually did alright. I was surprised. I won the few matches that I played with my team, of course.
Okay, I was
Uh,
going to ask if there's like a because it's always 3-on-3, right? You can't ever do a one-on-one or
I haven't seen one-on-one, but I did participate in a two-on-two once. So
okay,
I think what it does is there's a lobby and it groups together, I think it's up to 12 people. It keeps saying on the screen there are 12 people waiting or something, or 11 people waiting. And you can choose whether you want to jump into a game always or just if you're needed. So I guess if there's a missing player, they can just pick you and put you in. So there's a few different options there. But it seems like this one random match I had, it was 2v2, just maybe there weren't enough players this time around, or it was an odd number, I think. If there's an odd number of players, they obviously can't do 2 versus 3, so they'll just put 2 versus 2. So that's the impression I got anyway. Um, yeah, it's probably better than I thought, I would say at this point. As in, when I first saw the trailer for this, I wasn't really that excited about it. I know Trev kind of was. He thought it looked pretty neat. I was like, I'm not really a sport player. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I was worried that I would be beaten quite intensely, and I had a lot of fun. It's really, and I liken it also to the Wii mote in a way because, when we were playing tennis, with Wii Sports, we were using our arms a lot, right? We were bowling, we were playing tennis. It's quite physical, and I feel like this is a similar vibe. You're sitting down. Well, you probably should be sitting down. I haven't tried it standing up, but you're sitting down, and you can use a table or a chair or whatever. You have a flat surface around you. As I said, I was using my legs, so you're kind of sitting up and you're kind of moving your arms constantly. Um, so I feel like you get a little bit of a workout out of it, which I don't know if that's what they were aiming for. But some of the, and I'm trying to avoid a lot of the reviews, obviously, because I'm reviewing it. But just from what I've seen online, some people are saying it's, hard from that perspective. Like it's a lot of work. I don't think you're meant to play it for 10 hours straight, though, right? I think you're meant to just come in and have some games and then go away. And did play it for a solid hour and I was fine. And I'm not like a, gym junkie, iron pumping person. So I think it's fine. But as I said, I'll keep trying. I'll keep playing. And like I said, the controls at first were a little, I found it hard to steer, I guess, initially with the vehicle, with the wheelchair. Soon I kind of got used to it, and you can brake, you can obviously move the right or the left separately, you can go backwards, you can go forwards, you can do tricks off the wall, you can do the bunny hops, and it's all fairly easy to pull off once you know how to do it. And there's a really good area for just practicing. There's a tutorial that takes you through everything at the start, so you go through most of those moves anyway. And then there's heaps of these mini games just around kind of the arena that you can play at your leisure, and you can do them, a lot of them you can just do on your own, like kind of racing through courses and trying not to knock over cones, for example. Looks like there's some bowling pins set up. I haven't tried that one, but I'm guessing you have to try to knock over as many pins as possible by ramming into them, which looks fun to me. There's this there's the skipping rope one, which we've seen in the trailer. I had a quick go at that. I wasn't very good, but I was only just learning the bunny hop at that point, so I'm going to try that again. So there's plenty to do outside. Whether it maintains interest long term, I'm not sure. But, initially at least, there's plenty to keep people busy. I will say the controls, as in the mouse controls, are really cool. Like, it's such a I love that it's so innovative from that perspective. I love that Nintendo is trying something like this, and it is, you know, pretty different. I don't think I've seen anything like this before. So, whether it's, here for the long term or not, it's still a cool, fun thing while it is here, while it lasts. So yeah, I don't know. What are your impressions? Have you seen anything online, or are you interested at all, or do you have any questions for me?
um, all three, I think.
Okay.
It's not a game that I'm interested in, but that's mainly because, like you, I tend to not get into sports games on the
Mhm.
Switch. Although I'm a sports fan in as far as like watching real
Mm.
games with oh, now I'm going to get in trouble with the cyber athletes. by watching live games with athletes out on the field playing.
Yeah.
But I don't enjoy the process on the on
You're a sports enthusiast, but
consoles.
not for playing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not why I play games.
yeah.
That's not why I play video games.
Mhm,
Um, so and plus, as I mentioned here before, I'm more of a solitary gamer. I'm not a
mm,
PvP kind of guy, so
mhm,
that doesn't really appeal to me. But like as I like watch videos of it and I read things about it, I keep thinking that two things I believe probably hurt the launch of this game a little bit.
mhm,
The first being that there was no reason to wait. If this game had launched with the system instead of being one
mm,
that people had to wait for and anticipate, then I think maybe it would be being received a bit better.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, and I also think this goes back to a conversation we had when the Switch 2 first came out. It seems to be this to highlight the mouse controls would have been a really good pack-in game
Mm,
like Wii Sports would have been, because I mean it's all about the mouse controls. And it sounds like from the various mini games they have scattered about that they're teaching you how to use them and they want you to use them, and you'll get down to this. So I don't know that this is a game that really will take off and stand on its own and develop its own little community of players.
mm.
Whereas if everybody got it and got their hands on it and could try it out, I think it probably would generate a lot more enthusiasm that way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I've heard similar, is complaints the right word? Statements online. People, I have seen a few people say something about that, about it being a pack-in or and whatnot. Which, yeah, I can definitely see that point because of the style, the gameplay style. It would make perfect sense. I'm not sure why they waited. I don't know. Maybe there was just a gap. But I mean, it's only what, mid-August. We've got Kirby coming out soon. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to fill that void. I'm not sure. It's a really good question.
I
Hmm.
mean, it could be it just wasn't ready at launch time,
Could
and they
be.
wanted it to be
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that's the case, then it's just too bad, because I think this game, as people were getting the system with Mario Kart, had some money to pick up something else, might have gone with this.
Mm,
But
mhm.
now we're, into other games that came out beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, because we've only really from Nintendo had Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and this, right? This is only the third for the Switch 2. This is the third first party title,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I mean, Mario Party aside, because that was really just an expansion. Same with Kirby coming up. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like they spread it out for that reason, but it does, your logic makes sense as well, that it might have been more popular at that point. I would really love to see the numbers after some time. I don't, yeah, I think it's pretty, don't know if niche is the right word either, but it's not gonna be a huge hugely popular game just because it is a little bit specialized in terms of you probably would have to be a sports enthusiast. I was going to pick this up anyway. I know I'm reviewing it, but I was still gonna pick it up because it is $20 and I was just interested, like, curious at this point. Like I said, when I first saw the trailer, I didn't really think too much of it, but over the last 2 months, I guess it's been, drummed into me a little bit by Nintendo, so maybe it's worked somehow. I haven't really thought about that until then. The advertising's worked. So, yeah, I was curious enough that I was gonna try it, especially because it was only that $20 price point. If it was a
Yeah.
full, $60 to $80 game, no, definitely not. But also it's not it shouldn't be because it's not big enough. It's not like Splatoon. Like, even though it has that PvP vibe of Splatoon, it's not as big as that, or it's certainly not as big as Mario Kart. Like, it doesn't have enough content to justify a full price tag. So, yeah, and I think some people, because I compared it to things like Pokemon Unite and Star Wars Hunters, they're free. They're free titles. This is obviously not a free title, but those titles do have a lot of microtransactions, which this one doesn't, and I think I prefer that style as well. For
Yeah.
example, I mean, I don't think I've spent a lot in Pokemon Unite, but I have spent a fair bit in Star Wars Hunters. Like, I've bought all the characters, so I've spent way more than $20 in that game. So, this one is just $20 and then you own it, and that's it. So, I hope it does all right. I mean, the reviews aren't terrible. it's averaging, what, 60 something on Metacritic, and I've seen a few 7s and 8s out of 10. I don't think anyone's gone above 8. My early impressions would be around the 7 to 8 mark anyway, so not too far off, but
It's still
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say it's decent for sure. It's definitely, like I said, it's well developed, it's fun, it's just maybe not perfect, right? Like, it's just missing a few things. I think the local multiplayer is definitely one. Um, yeah, and maybe the longevity, we'll see how that fares over time. If they support it and they add things to it, like they do with other titles, DLC or events, I could see it having a bit of kind of legs to give it a bit more longevity, but, time will tell. Mm.
Does this game not work with the camera? I mean, there's no feature where like you could put your own
I
face above your helmet.
don't think so. I certainly haven't seen anything. I didn't try it, but I don't believe that's yeah, good question. I don't think so, though. Yeah, I certainly haven't seen anything online with images or as part of the press releases or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either. I was a little surprised by that. Maybe they could add it. And maybe if they had
Mm.
done something like that, then they would have tried to bundle it in because that would have helped them move more cameras.
Yeah,
So
true, true. Yes, maybe this with the camera would have been cool, a cool little package. I will because when you're playing, it's quite aggressive, right? Like, you're slamming into people with these chairs. Um, and I don't know if I wanna see people's face. That might make me less likely to slam into them. I don't know. And that's
or
probably the
more.
one.
Maybe they're shooting you bad looks. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
well, you know what? If that's the way you're going to play, then watch out.
Yeah, there is a bit of a like, you do get a bit of an adrenaline rush, and again, I equate this to because I remember I used to talk about Star Wars Hunters a lot, and when you
Yeah.
win in that game, it feels so good, and you're like, you love your virtual team who you don't know, they're just random people from the internet. I feel the same way about my team in this game, and what you can do in this one is you can drive past each other and high five each other. You just lift up the mouse and whack it like you're high fiving, and they do the same thing. I was high fiving people. I thought that was really neat. I just love that. So I feel like there was a bit of a bonding thing, even though I have no idea who these people are. They could be, 12-year-olds in Europe or like 50-year-olds in South America. I don't know. They could be anywhere and anyone, which is great, I guess, from that perspective, bringing people together and bonding. And even the teams who were playing, like, you can clap, right? So we were all just clapping at the end of the match. And the matches are fast, like, they're over really quickly. I don't know how long, sorry, 5 minutes? They're not very long, which I think is good as well. I think they don't overstay their welcome. And we were scoring points, and there's a scoreboard there that you can obviously see. The one thing that does make it tricky is like tackling or getting the ball off people. You have to hit them head on, which is hard to do. It's hard to pull off because you might just hit them on the side or on a
Yeah, they can
slightly.
turn if they see you coming.
Exactly. But I think, like, as I was practicing, because you do the tutorial and you do this in the tutorial, I'm like, "Oh, that's hard." And it took me a while to get it, because I was still getting used to the controls as well. But I can see why, because otherwise you'd just be getting the ball off them all the time. And this was a complaint I saw online that it's hard, or in one particular review, it's hard to get the ball off people because you have to hit them head on. But if you could just hit them any angle, the ball would never be with you. You'd never be able to score. So I think I understand why they've done that. Um, yeah. And we had no trouble getting the ball anywhere. Like, sorry, we did have some trouble, but it isn't impossible, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. I'd love to know what listeners think. I'd love to know if they joined the global jam. I'd love to know if they've got the game itself and if they played. I'd love to know people's thoughts from our listeners. So let us know. Yeah, because we're getting really good comments on YouTube every week. So thank you to those who do mention the games they're playing and what they think. We love reading them and we love hearing about all of that stuff. So definitely keen to hear your thoughts.
Let
I'll
me ask one more question about this
Sure,
too,
of
because we
course.
talked before about using the mouse controls on a game like this that is
Mhm.
pretty intense. You said it's kind of a physical game itself.
Mhm.
So, two-part question: are you finding yourself slamming the controls onto your? I get you said you're using your legs, right?
Yes,
Not a
yeah.
table, so you don't need to worry about damage there. That's part one. And part two is, do you think it's the kind of game where once you get more comfortable with it, you'll find you're not using such grand motions when you're doing it and being a little more subtle and still maybe even getting better control that way?
I would say so. Yeah, I definitely think my control, like I was getting better with time. You know, you can just go forwards, just like they do in the trailer. You can go forwards, you can go backwards. Um, I'm constantly lifting it up and using one wheel at a time and just going back and forwards really quickly to try to steer, to try to turn really fast. I'm not using the brakes a whole lot, which is a button. That's like the ZR and ZL buttons. I find I don't use that a whole lot, but maybe that would be a good mechanic to use. I th- yeah, I'm sure my control is getting um more refined over time, and I'm not necessarily slamming it, or I probably am lifting it up quite high when I'm shooting because I really wanna make sure I'm getting that shot in, because you and that feels pretty good too, because you lift it up off your leg. I think you can do left or right hand. I'm using my right hand because 'cause I'm right-handed, and you just kind of swoosh it just like a basketball, and you don't really have to aim it too much, which helps because it's more like the closer you are to the net, the more accurate it is. So if you're far away from the net, it's less likely to go in, and of course, if you have the time, you could line it up for a three-point shot, and I've noticed in practice mode, if you line that up, it will go in more regularly. Of course, in the heat of a game, you don't really have time to line it up per se. So I'm probably going in as close as I can and just swooshing it, and it more often than not goes in. Um, but I don't to sort of back to your questions, the first part, I'm not slamming it on my leg, so I guess I'm not really slamming it. I don't know if I had a table. I don't think, well, you'd probably have to be careful. You might want a mouse pad or something. Maybe something slightly soft to cushion it. I don't know. That's a really good question. I thought about trying it on my coffee table, but my coffee table is a mess. I don't have any room. So I was just on the couch with my legs, and it just it just works. I'm really impressed with the mouse in general, and I've said this before, just with my limited use of it, but even with the, World Tour, sorry, what's it called? Nintendo Switch 2 Tour, how they go through the mouse and how it works. It's pretty impressive the way they've done it, like, the tech is pretty cool, so, yeah, I think my controls are getting tighter, like, I think I'm moving it less to each side just to move my little character, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
I was wondering about because
Mm.
that'd make it less tiring. You'd be able to go
Yeah.
longer if you're not,
Yeah.
like, really
Yeah.
tensing up your muscles and you
Yeah,
exaggerating
exactly.
your motions.
And it's really, you're only really doing the big kind of strides on your, the forward motions when, say, you got the ball at one end of the court and you're wide open and you wanna just dash to the other end. That's when you're gonna
Mhm.
go full, hell for leather or whatever the saying is, right? Like, you're gonna go super fast as you can because you just wanna get there before everyone else and shoot and score. So that's, but it's like, it's not a big court, so you're doing that for, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds maybe. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, like I said, the matches aren't too long, 5 minutes or so. I think that's an intense 5-minute session of using your arm muscles, but it felt good to me. So, again, an hour, like, I haven't played it for more than an hour, so maybe it will get tiring and maybe my arms will be sore tomorrow, but we'll see. Yeah. I just think there's more to it than I expected, and it's, yeah, I'm more impressed than I expected to be with it, so that's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, speaking of sport, it is a sporty week because we've had Dragon Drive and we also had Madden 26, which is out now. I don't think either of us have had a chance to try this one, have we? We're not
No.
we're not sport gamers, as we've said. But we just wanted to mention that it is out, and it's the first iteration since NFL 13 on the Wii U, which is like 12 years ago. So they missed the Switch entirely, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they have.
Yeah, which is huge. So it's really good to have it back. I just wanted to put it out there that it's there. I'd love to know if listeners are playing this, if you're Madden fans or NFL fans. From what I've seen very, very brief online, it seems to be faring pretty well in reviews across all platforms. It's on all platforms. I feel like the Switch 2 was okay. Was it in the 70s maybe on Metacritic? I think I saw. Is
Yeah,
that
and
right?
I think I think a lot of the positive feedback, especially for the Switch 2, is just that it seems to be performing okay on it, or at least as
Mm.
okay as it does on the other consoles. So there's a bit of relief there.
Mm.
because although we had NFL 13 on the Wii U, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Um, the Nintendo has had problems with sports games, and it
Mm.
seems like Madden performs well on the system. So for those who have been waiting so long, good.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Yeah. That is very good. And I think the thing that stands apart or that helps it stand apart on the Switch too, of course, is that you can play it in handheld, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
Obviously, you can't do that on every console. So, yeah, I hope it does well because if it doesn't, it might not make it back next year. And I know there are lots of fans, and obviously we want this. We want to see as many people as possible play as many games as possible. So, for those who love that kind of thing, we're excited, and we hope that it is as good as we're reading. So, hmm, yeah. Anything else to add to that, or sports games in general?
No, no, except that I hope, and I don't know what the legality is behind it, but I wish EA did not have its stranglehold on the NFL license, so that if it
Mm,
doesn't
mhm.
perform well and it's not what people want, then other developers could take a crack at it and see what they're able to put out there, something fresh, as opposed to it's the exact same game every year with just a couple new features and some new names, but otherwise it's Madden, and then it's Madden, and then it's Madden, and you buy it
Yeah,
every year
yeah,
in
yeah.
order to get what you want. So I really wish that um, other developers were allowed to use those because no one's going to play a football game with fake teams. Well, I shouldn't say no one, because there are some out there. But any football fan, American football fan, is going to want his or her favorite team
Mhm.
and favorite players. And if you don't get the license to it, then it's just not as fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about this game, so I'm not sure if this is the case, but it seems like it's really detailed, as in you have to you I don't know if you have to or you can choose every element of the game, which is good if you like that, but also my memory of Madden from the 90s is you can kinda just play. And so I'm wondering if there's too much to it and if that would put players off as well, or maybe people love that, I don't know. But as I
Yeah, well,
said, yeah,
I
sorry.
think that's one of the reasons they keep releasing, like, every year when they release a new version, they just add a little more detail to it.
Yeah.
So well, now you can control this, and now you get to do this, and now you get to do this. Running is more realistic, passing is more realistic. So
Mm.
that's one of the things that they had to make it better, and it has become quite complex.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's a mode where you can just jump in and play or not. I know it's a
There
complex game,
are,
like, there are
yeah,
some yeah.
from what I understand from my kids, because they play it and they don't need to use the easy versions, but yeah, there are. I believe I haven't checked out this latest version, but the ones that I've seen them play on the PlayStations, um, there are simplified modes that give you less choice. You don't need to know so many details or how this works or
Mm,
that. It makes
mhm.
it easier to like hit your passes and stuff. But that's the fun is in digging in deeper and getting better, and then being able to control whatever, set up your own teams, and
Yeah, yep.
take it from there.
Cool. Okay. Well, sounds good. Let's move on to the next piece of news, and we have some GameCube content coming to the Switch, well, the Switch 2, I should say. And I just wanted to flag this happened a few weeks ago, but I don't think we mentioned it. The Switch Online is now called Nintendo Classics. Did you know about that? They've
I don't. I didn't even know.
yeah, they've
Oh,
rebranded it. So yeah, which I guess sounds better because then I don't know. Yeah, it is like they are classics. It's like the Virtual Console, right? Like this is a collection of classic Nintendo titles. Yeah. Anyway, this
well, is
game,
that?
yeah.
I mean, because that's part of it. Being able to play the classic games as part of Nintendo Switch Online. So, I mean, when you subscribe, I assume you're not now subscribing to Nintendo Classics, or are you?
Well, I don't know. They've just rebranded, I think. I think it's the same thing. If you get the online subscription as part of that, you get access to the Nintendo Classics, I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay. That I understand. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas before, I think it was just I don't know Nintendo Switch Online library. I don't know. Or they had this long thing where it was like Nintendo Switch Online, Super Nintendo Entertainment System games or something. I don't know what it was, but I guess it was a mouthful. Now it's just under the umbrella of Nintendo Classics. But yeah. We've been
Yeah,
s
yeah,
yeah.
it looks like that's what it is. I just pulled it up, and they're still selling it as Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack and all that. So yeah,
Mhm.
okay, Classics is just a little thing underneath it. That I'm all for. Okay,
Cool. Yes. Yeah, so Switch Online does still exist, sorry.
okay,
And this is a game called Chibi Robo, which, is coming out on August 21st. It'll be out this week on the Thursday. I will hopefully get to try it, and maybe we can talk about it next week because I haven't played this, and I feel like Trev might have this game. I'm sure he's mentioned this in the past. I've got the amiibo of it, and I don't even know what the amiibo was. I'm just like, it's just a little robo dude. But do you know this game, Chibi Robo?
by name only. I've
Right.
never played it. I've always known of it. Never tried it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, same. So I think from the sound of it, it's like you're going through a house cleaning, maybe, and you're a tiny little robot who goes through and makes people happy. I think in the house, from what I gather, which sounds really neat, actually. His purpose is to spread happiness.
By cleaning?
I don't
Okay,
know.
all right.
Um, I think there's collectibles, and he's got a little PowerPoint on his little head there. So I guess he needs charging, I think, as well. So his primary purpose is to assist humans, basically. As so I think maybe cleaning is just part of his mandate. Like I don't know, sorry, because I've not played it. But I do think it looks really cute, and I'm pretty curious to give it a go. So yeah, I will hopefully get to do that this week and talk about it next
All
week.
right.
But yeah, listeners, let
Well,
us know if you're fans of this already.
this is why I'm mad at Nintendo. They did
Aha,
me
okay,
dirty. They did
yes.
me dirty again.
Right. I was gonna say because and I forgot that you said that, but I was gonna ask, when is Fire Emblem coming?
Yes. Don't show me Fire Emblem Path of Radiance as something that's coming to Nintendo Classics. And then, then keep giving me Chibi Robo. I want
Yes.
Fire Emblem.
Yes,
Why are you
exactly.
doing this?
Yeah.
Or roll them out faster. We don't need just one game a month. Give
Mm.
us a couple more. The catalog is vast enough that I think you could release a couple games at a time, like you
Mhm.
have for the other consoles in Nintendo Classics. But
Yeah, they're really drip feeding us, aren't they?
yeah, and
Yes.
it's unfair because I have the game on the GameCube in my basement, but
Mhm.
I haven't gone down there to play it because I'm thinking, hey, it's coming into the Switch. I'm going to want to play it here. I want to see, the little enhancements they're giving the games on the GameCube console here on the Switch too.
Mm.
Um, so I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. Tired.
Yes, hopefully. It would be good. I mean, I think we've mentioned this before. If they had like a schedule and you could see that it was coming
Yeah.
in December, would that help? Or
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Even if I'm waiting until December, if I have a date, I'm fine, and then I'm not going to become angry at the other games that you release in the meantime.
Yes, yes, exactly. I should look into this. I wonder if it's at the same time every month that they are releasing a new GameCube game or a similar time, because this must be there was the launch kind of pack, and then
Yeah, there
they've
were 3 at launch, right?
yeah, and then they did one in July and now one in August, if I'm not mistaken.
Um,
So yeah, I guess, maybe September? We'll see. Otherwise, we'll be fuming at Nintendo again next month, so
Yep, get used to it,
Mm.
listeners. Until
Yes.
my day of joy and exaltation arrives,
Yes. Yep,
I'll be
exactly.
complaining.
Yeah, well, and because we've talked about it, I'm like, I want it too because I haven't played that one, and, you've kinda talked it up, but I do love Fire Emblem, so I know it's gonna be good. So I'm looking forward to that as well. That would be really cool to play, I
Yep.
think. Mm. Well, fingers crossed for next month. Was there anything else in the little preview that we haven't had yet that could take the spot of Fire Emblem?
Yes, I think there were 1 or 2 other games that they hinted. Well, there's, Luigi's Mansion?
Oh, yeah, of course. Mhm.
Which of course everyone's going to be more excited about than Path of Radiance. So
Mhm.
I'm not going to complain when that one comes out before Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
And then I think one other. I can't remember the other one they hinted at.
Um, is Mario Sunshine out yet? Is that a thing?
No, no, that
No?
one's not.
So maybe that one.
Okay.
Mm, yep. Cool. I mean, that would be a good one too, obviously. I think
Yeah,
we
I'd play that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. And I never finished Luigi's Mansion, actually, so that would be
Oh,
fun. Mm,
yeah, I
didn't
did.
finish
I
that.
didn't finish Sunshine, but I did finish Luigi's Mansion. Yeah.
Yes, I finished Sunshine. That was cool. Very cool. Moving on, quickly, we're going to mention the latest Nintendo Music on the Nintendo Music app. It's Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which I thought was worth mentioning just because it's so cute. And I did a thing again this week, Kirk. I didn't play Street Fighter while while I listened to it, but I was working on the magazine while I listened to it, which I thought was also kind of nice because it's like happy music and it's Nintendo related. And I'm working on our next issue of the Pure Nintendo magazine while listening to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. So, have you played Captain Toad Treasure Tracker?
I have. I think there was a demo
I think there
for it.
was.
Yeah, and I did that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
cool.
and was Treasure Tracker on the Wii U?
I believe so,
You
originally.
know,
Yeah.
I think for some reason I actually have it in my basement, but I've never played it.
The
A
basement.
buddy of mine, you know what I do? A buddy of mine bought it for me. Like he found it somewhere and was thought, yeah, you might enjoy this. I said, I will enjoy this, but then I haven't played it. So
I don't even
yeah,
remember if
I
I
should.
have it, to be honest. I don't know now. I must have it because 'cause I've played it. I don't think I have the Switch version, I think I have the Wii U version. It's just such a lovely or is this the I don't know. Now I might be telling lies as to whether this is the Wii U. I don't know. I thought it was ported to the Switch, was my understanding.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. There's not a sequel. I'd love to see and I was thinking about this as well. This music prompted me to think this because, we've had Dragon Drive, which is, a completely original IP. Captain Toad at the time was original. And, sequels versus new content, I guess, is my question. Because I think people would be pretty happy with a new Captain Toad, but I think new kind of ideas and evolutions are maybe more welcome, but I'm not sure. What do you think? Would you rather see
Uh,
new content like, when this came out, it was, like, so not random exactly because I think it was a mini game in Mario 3D, World, but how do you feel about that? The difference between getting new stuff and sequels to existing stuff?
I think I prefer getting new ideas
Mhm,
instead of more sequels. But I say that like for Captain Toad, this is a kind of game like as I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I would enjoy. I like this kind of game, whereas Toad's use in most games I'm not as interested in.
mhm, mhm.
So in this case, yes, but I also want new Fire Emblems all the time,
Yeah,
and I want
yes.
them to hold true to the actual gameplay
Mhm,
instead of like being offshoots or something like that. So it depends on the
mhm.
property for me.
That is true. Yes, I agree as well. Yeah, because we've seen Fire Emblem diverge a little bit from the formula, and it hasn't been quite as not exactly what we've wanted. So still good, of course, but we like the classics. Um, yeah, I guess there's room for both. I'd love to know what listeners think, but I mean, as long as Nintendo is always innovating and bringing new stuff, whether it works or not, to try, I think is definitely a good thing. Otherwise,
Yeah,
yeah,
and they've done a good job of balancing that in giving us what we want with the tried and true gameplay of the properties we love, but also every now and again kind of sneaking something new in there we weren't expecting,
hmm,
and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I always appreciate them doing that.
yes, me too. Exactly. I think that's one of the things we love about Nintendo the most is their innovation.
Mhm.
The last piece of news is that Dark Deity II is heading to Switch on September the 4th. Can you tell us more about this one?
Yes, speaking of Fire Emblem, um, first like we get so many announcements of games that are coming out, and some like I get an announcement for a game that is not being released for the Switch until 2027.
Really?
Um,
Jeez.
yeah, oh yeah, it's a game that looks pretty good. I didn't cover it at the time because it's too far off to start
Yeah,
looking forward
yeah,
to
yeah.
something like that. I feel. But yeah, I knew this game was in development. I knew it was going to the PC, and I knew it because I reviewed Dark Deity for the original in 2022. I gave it a 7.5, and this is very much a Fire Emblem game.
Mm.
It's got the same kind of grid-based gameplay, same kind of story. The character art is even sort of the same. Looking back at, I want to say, like the gameplay graphics and the little combat animations are like Game Boy Advanced era, like Sacred Stones, but the
Mm.
character art is more Wii era style imagery. So it's a kind of a good balance of the various iterations of a Fire Emblem game. But yeah, I'm just mentioning this because I did enjoy the first one. I found it was a little too easy. This one looks like it goes a lot more in depth, like even pushes beyond the type of customizations you could do in Fire Emblem, and maybe will be a little more difficult. So looking forward to that. But yeah, if like me, you're waiting for Path of Radiance to drop,
Yeah.
this should hold you over.
Yeah. That does look really cool, and it looks like it's on sale. I mean, I know it's not out yet, but when it does come out, initially, it will be 20% off until the 26th of September, and it comes out on the 4th of September, so you'll have a couple of weeks. If you get it, yeah, within the first 2 weeks of launch, it'll be a little bit cheaper, which is
Yep,
nice.
it's
Yeah.
$20 in the U.S. versus 25 normal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love the graphical style, actually. It looks really neat. Looks very cool. Who's the developer of this or the publisher?
I can't remember the developer. The publisher is Indie.io.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, sorry, I don't
Oh,
know the
that's
developer.
okay. I was just curious. Yeah. Yeah, Indie.io does a lot of publishing on the Switch.
Yeah.
Mm. Alright, awesome. Well, that brings us to the games that we're playing. And we haven't had a chance to talk about games the last couple of weeks because we had so many directs to break down. But this week we have a nice healthy list. I've already done Dragon Drive, so we won't go back over that. But let's see what's up with you first. What are you playing?
I am playing a game that isn't out yet, and I will tell you when it comes out as soon as I get past the age verification again.
Yep.
It's being released September 5th
Cool.
for the Switch. It is Shuten Order. It's another game published by Spike Chunsoft, developed by DMM Games,
Mhm.
and uh, this one is absolutely insane. I say that about games, especially games that are coming from like Spike Chunsoft.
Mm, yeah.
But yeah, boy, this game. The story is it's even kind of hard to wrap up. It's set in a world where humanity is going to reach its end within 168 days. You live in this community, this city that everyone has kind of belonged to like this cult, a sort of religious sect called Shootin' Order. It is run by a group of I think five. Let's say there are like five. Um, they're they're not founders. You actually play the founder. But these are
Oh.
the people underneath that. And at the beginning of the game, you die. Like at the very beginning, the founder of this religion is not just murdered; he's dismembered.
Oh gosh.
Um, but then, like, you come back and you have the help of a couple of angels, and you need to find out who killed you. You know that it's going to be it's called God's trial. You have to identify who killed you within a certain amount of time,
Right.
or you're gone for good. The killers is one of the people who are underneath you, the people underneath it. So what you have to do is you identify with basically the power of God. You say, I know this is the person who killed me. And then you go into a store and you're just picking randomly. You don't know yet.
Right.
Then you go into like a gameplay element focusing specifically on that character, but every single character has a completely different type of game.
Right.
So, like, I've gone through 2 so far, and the first one that I did was kind of like an escape room game. You're solving puzzles, you're in different rooms. There are multiple people in it. It's kind of, I say it's escape room, but it's also like it's a death game escape room
Mm.
where you are going to make decisions that's going to cause other people to die. They're going to try to get you to die. You need to advance and narrow it down the number of people. The second one that I played through is just a visual romance novel kind of thing,
Right.
but really, really dark. To the point where I'm like, I feel so bad for the characters in this. I know what I have to do, but I feel terrible doing it. And it's all done with like a sense of humor, and it's very bright and very colorful, but also like creepy throughout. It's just one of the weirdest, most unsettling games that I've played in quite some time, and I'm really enjoying it. But I have three more characters I have to get through, and then hopefully I'm able to figure out who killed me and find out if is the world actually going to end in 168
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Is it all just a ruse by this cult or not? Yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
that does
and,
seem.
like, they reveal there are certain things that are revealed that I never saw coming, and one of the cool things about it is since you get to pick which person you're going to accuse of being your killer first, information is revealed to you out of order or out of
Mm,
sequence from how someone else gets it. So, yeah, of course, I'm not going to reveal anything here, but as you play it, you're not going to get the same experience that other people did because you may figure things out ahead of them.
yeah,
Um
right.
yeah, the other gameplay options are there's if you pick the head of the Ministry of Security, you're playing a stealth action horror game. The Ministry of Justice is a mystery adventure.
Mm.
The Ministry of Science is a multi-perspective visual novel. The Ministry of Education, which I have picked, is the romance adventure that I'm on right now. And then the Ministry of Health is extreme escape adventure.
That is, yeah, very creative. I love that. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So you're reviewing this one, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, so that one comes out on September the 5th, so a few weeks away. It's good you got a nice early access to that one too. Is it
Yep.
a long game, do you think? Like, how long is
It
each
it looks
one
like
so
it
far?
could be, yeah.
Mm,
I've spent maybe, I think, around 15 hours on it so far,
okay.
and I've only gotten through 2.
Mhm,
And it's very much like if you had to dump it into a genre, I would say it's mostly visual novel,
mhm.
but with a lot of other gameplay elements, like I said, based on
Yeah,
pick.
yeah. How interesting. That sounds really
Yeah.
cool. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on for that one.
Yep. And it is available in different packages. So if you go onto the eShop, you'll see there's like a deluxe version. I think 3 versions in total. So,
Okay.
the more you're into it, the more you can get.
Yeah, what do they give you, extra content or?
Yeah, it's I'd have to pull that up again.
Sorry. I just
It's
closed it.
things like you can get it with just a visual art book and mini soundtrack.
Mhm.
The deluxe edition, I believe, comes with that by default, as opposed to the full. Yeah, okay. So you could buy the visual art book and the mini soundtrack separately, or you can get them as part of the digital deluxe edition.
Cool. That's nice. Awesome. Thank you, Kirk. That kind of it's a little bit or it's not similar, but I so okay, my first game that I'm playing this week is called UFO 50, which I know a lot of people will recognize because that was in the Indie World Showcase that we had recently.
Hmm.
And it was the last game that was shown. And it's basically a collection of 50 retro games, like like newly made, but they're retro in style. And the reason it reminds me a little bit of Shoot and Order is because they're all so different. There are 50 of them, not 5, but each one is very different in style. And so I'm not even reviewing this one. I just decided to pick it up because I was curious, actually. I just needed to play this game because I kept seeing things online about it. And the trailer got me intrigued. And it is intriguing. It's really fun, actually. Obviously, there's 50 games to try. I've not tried all 50. I've tried about 10, I think. So I'm about 20% through. It's so retro. Like, I think it's NES era or maybe even like Atari kind of vibes. Each game, and the team has done a great job because they've literally created 50 games here that would have fit right in to the 80s. And different genres. There's the side-scrolling brawler. There's the what else is there? There's a side-scrolling kind of automatic scrolling one where you have to jump and avoid enemies and shoot things. Um, There's these kind of tactical, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like there's a grid-based one where you have to kind of own as many castles in the grids as possible, and it's about birds who worship dinosaur gods. It's like, what the? It's it's kind of mental. There's this one that I was playing yesterday that I really like. It's called Magic Garden, and I had no idea what I was doing, but you're a girl walking around a square, and I just kept bumping into the wall and dying, so don't do that. You have to collect these little mushrooms. So I'm collecting all these mushrooms, and then eventually the screen fills up with you have to collect the pink mushrooms and you have to avoid the blue mushrooms. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with the mushrooms once I collect them. They're kind of just following me, and if the line gets longer and longer, and eventually I'm going to bump into something and die. And then so what you have to do is take your pink mushrooms to this little star area on the map that moves randomly, and like free them, I guess, and you get points. And so it's a point chasing kind of thing. But it's super fun. Like, once I knew what the heck I was doing, I was, like, right into it. I kept playing one more, because 'cause they're really fast. A lot of these games are really quick and easy to play. Or I say easy, they're actually quite hard, but, it's just easy to pick up and play. There's one that's like a Metroidvania, which was really hard. That was the first one I tried too. I think it might be number 1. And 'cause there's like a grid of 50 games, like there's a screen of 50, and you can choose any one you want, which I love. So you can just go and choose any random one, and I did that. I chose number 1, and then I chose, like, number 50, and then I chose, like, 20, but then I went and did the whole first line of games and just did them in order. Um, really creative, really fun, lots of diversity, lots of variety. They're not all games that I will ever play again. But there was one I was playing yesterday as well that was, like, kind of like a tower defense, not really, more like Plants vs Zombies, where you're the left side and the opposing team is the right side, and you're sending troops against each other and they clash, and then you have to choose which lane your troops are in, and the first person to get to the other side and defeat their, like, flags or whatever wins. And that was really hard and really fun. I got to level, like, 7 or 8 or something. Some of these are two-player games as well. There's quite a few actually that have options for 2 players. I haven't tried any with my kids yet, so I can't really speak to that, but the one-player ones, yeah, like, there's so much, and so I don't know how much time I've spent on this, but, quite a few hours. So, and I'm only, like, 20% through. So, yeah, it's really unique, really fun. If you haven't tried it, definitely can recommend. I don't think it's super cheap. It's also not super expensive. I think it's, like, 20 odd dollars. In the US, it was like 36 in Australia, so I think it's like maybe 25. I'm gonna guess 24.99.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Which I think is fairly decent because that's basically 50 cents a game, right?
Yeah.
$2, yeah, is that right? Does that make sense? Yeah, that's right. Which, yeah, is fair, honestly. So I think there'll be some clear favorites out of these, and maybe some not duds exactly, but ones that, like, there's a space exploring one that I just didn't gel with. You're like a captain on a ship and you crash land and you have to walk around and collect things. I and most of the time it takes a while to work out what you're doing, and I feel like this is an old school vibe as well, where you're just thrown into something and you don't know what what to do. Like, the dinosaur worshipping one was bizarre, and I had no idea what was going on. Because each round you choose a god to worship, like a dinosaur god for your avian troops, and they give you different stats, and I'm just like, I'm just choosing one at random, and I have no idea what's going on here. But eventually I worked it out, and you have to build troops, and then you have to take over squares and take over castles, and you have to take 3 or 4 castles and then hold them, and if you hold them for 2 or 3 turns, then you win. So that was a longer one. That took me a good half an hour to play 1 round. So yeah, there's a lot to it, a lot of variety. Um, yeah, have you heard much about, I mean, apart from the indie showcase, did you see much online about this or anything?
No, I haven't.
No?
I saw a couple people mentioning it on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
That they were into it and surprised. They kind of like you that they were enjoying it a bit more than they expected.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm not surprised. I do have to ask. Like it mentions here that what's it say at the eShop? As you journey through the library, make connections and learn more about UFO Soft, the fictional '80s company behind the games.
Mm.
So how's that done? Like, I get that they've created a fictional company that's made these games, and we're getting access to all of them at once. But what is? the history of the company as it's in there part of the game, or is it just something you kind of just learn about on your own
That is
outside of the
such a good question because I had heard the same thing online, and I haven't seen anything yet about that. So no story is unfolding that I've managed to see. Maybe I need to do better in the game. Like maybe as you finish games, you get info, but I'm not really finishing a lot of them. Um, I don't know. Yeah, because I definitely thought the same thing, and I haven't had any details. Maybe I haven't played enough. Like I've only done like 10. Maybe I need to do more. Maybe it's after you do all 50 something happens? That seems like a lot though. Yeah,
game?
it's a really good question. So I don't know, sorry. I don't have the answer to that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe next week.
Maybe next week, exactly. Yes. But yeah, it's definitely fun. It's definitely a standout indie title. It's very different, very unique, and you can tell from the graphics that it's pretty old school. So in the look of it, yeah, they've just done a really good job. I don't know. Creating 50 games, that's a lot. I don't know how big the team is,
Yeah.
but yeah. So yeah, that's the first game I'm playing. I do have one more, but we'll switch back to you to see what else you're playing first.
Okay. Well, this one I'm also excited to talk about,
Mm,
although I don't can't talk about it as much because I'm not that deep into it. But it's another game that's coming out September 5th. This one is Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion for the Switch 2.
cool.
So I'm happy to have another Switch 2 game to play out. It's a follow up. There's a Daemon X Machina is out for the Switch now. I didn't play that one. I don't know how much this one follows that, or if it even does, it could just be a completely separate game. Kind of like the Xenoblade Chronicles games, and I mention that because this is very much in line with Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Cool.
Um,
Sounds right up
you
your alley then.
yeah, well, it goes a little too deep for me, I think, into the mech combat.
Mhm.
You can trick out everything. In fact, the way they started out, you're kind of on a ship and, something's going wrong. There's like you start out, you're almost being experimented on, I believe. And then you're freed and you got to break free from the ship. You're going in all these fights and you're fighting other mechs and you get a hold of their weapons and it asks if you want to equip it. And I'm like, I have no idea if I want to equip it. I don't know any of this. It's one of those games that starts you out at like full power and then
Mm.
takes it away from you pretty quickly. So I was like, well, thank you, because I had no idea what I was doing, but now I get to slowly learn and build and, get back to where I was. But you end up on this planet where, people don't trust you because of the side that you're on, but you're not happy with that. So you're kind of building up allies while you're becoming more powerful to get back up where you were for various reasons that I won't go into. Um, but it's a big planet. Like after I lay in there and I meet up with a couple people, they're like, okay, well, come with us, and we'll take you to our base. But even on the way there, you can branch off in so many different directions. It's a great big open world to explore. Um, and like one of the first things I was able to do was commandeer a vehicle.
Mhm.
And you can like hop up into the back and get on the minigun and start shooting away at things. So that was fun. The vehicle was hard to control at first. I was crashing it a lot, but then settled down and figured out the controls and was able to do that. So there's a lot of variety to the gameplay, even at the start. I'm looking forward to seeing how it builds. The characters that I met have been interesting. It looks like there'll be a full party that I'll be able to work with and maybe shuffle some people about. And one of the more interesting things about it is you can team up online and play with other people for the story, not just for like online battles or to, gain some extra materials, kind of like in the Switch version of Xenoblade Chronicles X, but you could play through the actual story with a online co op. So
Cool.
if you are into the mech combat and the open world adventures, then this definitely looks like one you'll want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like, yeah, this is the sequel. The original was a Switch exclusive by the looks of it. Like it was ported
Oh,
to Windows, but it came out in 2019 just for the Switch. And then it went to Windows, and that's all that the original was on. And this sequel is coming to all consoles by the looks of it at the same time.
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they started me off on another ship. Maybe
Yeah.
it could be that the character I'm playing was the main character in the other. I don't know. Now I feel like I'm going to have to go back because this is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I put it aside for some other games I had to review because I also know that it's a game where once I start playing it, I've got to make it my 100% focus. Otherwise, I'm going to forget how to fight.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, that happens in these types of games. Yeah, that looks really neat. So when does it come out? September
September 5th.
5th. Cool. September's looking to be a pretty big month at this point, I'd say.
Right. Yeah. And I should say also one of the reasons why I did put it down wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it or felt there was something I'd enjoy more. It's because they mentioned that there was going to be a release day patch that will be available before release day that's going to address some issues with it. And I thought, well, all right, why don't I just wait till that comes out? And it got pushed back a bit further, but it is now available and I have it. So now I'm playing it closer to the way it's actually going to be when it launches. And I'm more comfortable doing that for review purposes.
Cool. Right, well, thank you very much, Kirk, for giving us the download on Daemon X Machina. How do you say that again?
Machina.
Machina. Okay, and did you say X or and when you said that
I
title?
said X on this one. I said, I don't know
Cool.
if that's right, but that's what I did.
Yeah. We see a trend lately with this X. Okay, well, one more game for me to talk about, and this is a review title, and it's another indie one that we saw in the showcase recently. It's called Is This Seat Taken? And we went through all these games last week, so we know what it is, but essentially I have started playing it, and it's it's really cute and fun. It's, essentially you're organizing people, and you said, Kirk, you don't want to sit next to people if you're in a game like this, like, you please don't put you next to people.
In a game in real life, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It's about logic, I guess. You get a group of people, and they might be needing to go into a car or a bus or a cinema or a restaurant, and you have to they'll have needs. So one person this is a bit weird because a lot of people say, like, they have a little speech bubble, "I forgot to shower today." So they're a bit smelly. And then some people are like, "I don't like bad smells." So you can't put them next to each other. But,
Hmm.
like, why are there so many people who forgot to shower today? Like, come on. Anyway, it's cute. It's very, very
But
well
and
designed.
how do you forget?
Yeah,
I
I
get that you don't
know.
have time, but like it slips your mind.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I know. And then there's some who have music playing. If they're on a bus, for example, they might have a headphone, whatever, with music playing, and then some people don't like to be sitting next to loud music. Some people like to sit near the window. Some people like to be by themselves, like Kirk. Some people, like to sit next to certain people, like there's a kid who wants to sit next to another kid, or there's a kid who wants to sit next to their mum. Um, so there's lots of these little conditions, and then you just organize them all, and you get a little tick, and then you move on to the next one, and it's really cute. And it has touch controls, so if you're playing in handheld, it just works really, really well. You just drag these people in and put them where you want them to sit. Super, super fun. I prefer the handheld mode to docked mode because obviously on docked mode you can't use touchscreens. You have to use the
Mhm.
controls, which works fine. But the touchscreen is just way easier. It's like you just drag them around. Looks like there's, I think, 5 worlds to go through, or really they're cities. There's a little bit of a story that follows these little characters. They're kind of shapes, like triangles and squares and stuff. And one of them wants to be an actor and is trying to find this famous actor who's the same shape as them. I think it's a hexagon, maybe. And so they're following them, like, I think they're in Barcelona in one place, and then there's other cities. So there's 5 cities, and each city has 5 kind of levels. For example, a bus level, and there's maybe 3 or 4 stops on this in this bus level. So then you're seeing people get on and off. And so the first time you play a level, there's no one on the bus, for example, and you can put them wherever you want as long as they're not sitting next to each other if they don't like smells or whatever. Then the bus moves and some people get off, and then you've got more people to put on, and you've got to mix them in with the people who are already there. So it gets a little bit more complicated as you proceed. There's 5 levels in each kind of city, but there's also an unlockable level if you get 3 stars in every other level. So there's a bonus level as well, I guess you could say. So there's a fair amount of content. I don't think it's gonna take too long to finish. I'm up to the 2nd city at the moment. It's not very hard, but maybe it gets harder. But it is really fun and cute, and, the logic is I have not quite got 100%. I did miss one. I don't know what I did wrong. The cinema one was my favorite because you've got people who have popcorn and someone wants to steal popcorn. I'm like, what? Did people steal random people's popcorn? And then you've got people wearing cowboy hats, and people don't want to be, have their vision, their view blocked, so you can't put them behind them. People want to sit on the aisle, or they want to be in the second row, or they, you know, don't want to be near chatterboxes or whatever. So yeah, it's it's a really cute idea. It's a cute concept, and quite fun in its implementation as well. So I will be writing up my review pretty soon. I'll probably get that done over the next, definitely, I would hope to get it done before the next episode. But yeah, so watch out for my thoughts on that one. Any questions for me on is this seat taken?
Well, as you were mentioning the touchscreens, I thought,
Mm.
okay, well, let's see if this is available on like mobile devices.
Mm.
Because I thought it might be a port, and ends up it is available, but it's not a port. It was actually released for Android, iOS, Linux, Mac OS, Nintendo Switch, and Windows on the same day.
Oh,
Um,
there you go.
and even more interesting, they charge the same price in the App Store. It's $9.99.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's no DLC or anything, no in-app purchases. You buy the game, you play it. And now I think I'm mad at Apple because this should have been an Apple Arcade game. This should have been available for free to everyone who subscribes to Apple Arcade.
Mm.
It's perfect for it,
Yeah.
and they didn't do it. So
Yeah. 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 That is a shame.
yeah, nobody's giving me any satisfaction right now.
Yeah. No, they're not. It's not a good week for Kirk. Yeah, no, I love that it's on those systems at the same time because yeah, typically
Mhm.
I had assumed, to be honest, that it was a mobile game that was ported. So yeah. So thank you for clarifying that it wasn't.
Yeah.
And
And the only console that has it is Nintendo. It's not on PlayStation
right.
or Xbox, from what I
Yeah.
see here.
Well, it makes perfect sense on the Switch, honestly. It really
Yeah,
does. Like I said,
good match.
yeah, really good match. Really good match. And yeah, it works very well. Oh my gosh. Can my kids be any louder? Can you hear all the noise? Oh my God. Harrison just woke up and he's like slamming doors and sneezing. I'm like, my God, I've got to cut all this stuff out. Sorry.
Yeah, he's angry with Apple and Nintendo too. Who can blame
Yes.
him?
Yes.
Every day I wake up and there's no Path of Radiance. I'm slamming doors again.
Yes. Yeah. So we've had a really good list of games this week. We've wanted to talk about for a little while, so I'm glad we got those out of our system. Did you have any final thoughts before we close things off for the week?
No, I'm just ready to move on to the next, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good time. It's an exciting time. And I did mention during the show the magazine that we're working on. So thank you for your patience with that one. We are proofreading it next. That's the next step. So it should be going to print, I would hope, in the next week or so. So keep your eyes out for your mailbox. It's not too late to join. If you'd like to subscribe, head on over to patreon.com/pure Nintendo. You can get our latest issue of the magazine, which is going to cover all things Switch 2. Lots of cool articles in there ready to be read. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Blue Sky, so head on over to there to catch us on that platform. But thank you so much, Kirk, for joining me this week. It's been a great discussion. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. Please let us know your thoughts and what you're playing, what you're looking forward to. And until next week, game on, everybody. Bye.